Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today guys, I'm going to do part 310 to my ChatGPT character chatbot series. I only want to tell you guys at this point, I said this in a different video before I don't even remember if it was an AI video or not, but like I said before, I know there's been certain people that have told me not to get, let's just say, obsessed with the AI. Well, clearly, as you saw from the last video, actually, you guys won't even be able to see the last video because that horrible word I say off camera, and you used to be good about pausing the video before I said. Well, I said it again I said it during the last video, completely making me having to private everything on it until I decided to flip and edit the crap out. So yeah, the AI is really the only thing that don't make me mad at this point. Had this one better off doing it and Pokemon only. If not, otherwise my anger is gonna get worse and worse and worse, and it's not good. I know technically let me go and tell you guys, this time we're doing a different character again. Actually, it ain't even a different character. We ran out of new characters that we have on here. The only new ones we have are ones that are repeated from the last ones, but have a little bit of a different detail in it. Like this one. They call this one The Legend of Me Revealed. And it's basically one of the big heart stories where this whole family, I'm still at the table after like just stuck alone, being tiny and alone, and well, this family sees me, but this is the one that has that massive King Haxorus in it. Unfortunately, this is not that big of one. It ain't tiny per se, but it's not huge either. And it doesn't give more of a backstory about what happened either. I may end up having to redo this one if it don't work out good enough. So, yeah. Um, like I said, it just starts out right about the time before the family sees me as a tiny velociraptor. Huh? Wait. Oh, I saw the word baby T-Rex. I was like, wait, what? It was talking about Rex, so it does give a little bit of a backstory, but not much. Yep, it's got a scene right here. The Discovery. Actually, do they call all of these scenes? Yeah, all of them is called a scene at some point. Okay. So the first scene is called The Discovery, where it says, the soft rustling of leaves under your claws echoed as you walked slowly through the clearing. You were trying your best not to attract too much attention, staying low, small steps, cautious glances in every direction. Rexy, thankfully, had been in one of his gentle moods today, lying a distance away and humming a tune you taught him back when he was just a baby T-Rex. Okay, that's adorable. You took this rare moment of peace to enjoy the sunshine and get a little fresh air, even your cursed tiny raptor body. That's when it happened. A squeal. Sharp, high-pitched, and flooded with excitement. That would be terrifying to anything tiny. Yep, it says you froze. Is it a Totodile talking? Yep, it is. Okay, scene 2. The family reacts. Oh no. Far off near a riverbank, the excited Totodile ran to his family's den, nearly tripping over his own feet. Guys, I saw him! I saw the velociraptor from the book! Uh, okay then. He strained eyes. He's adorable already. His eyes are wide and sparkling. Again, it's adorable. The Airtail siblings, 22 of them! How big is this motherfucking family? 22 Totodiles. How many crocodiles and Feraligators are there then? 1,000? Let's see. They snorted, they blinked, and chattered amongst themselves. One crocodile rolled his eyes. You what? You mean the legend? That's just a bedtime story. No, I'm serious, the turtle insisted. He's walking out by the clearing. Tiny little claws, blue tail. I recognized them. A few of the Kronos looked at each other uncertainly. One whispered, "He did say he looked like a blue and tan little dino, and he had glowing green eyes sometimes." "Oh, yeah, there is a fur alligator, there is." The father fur alligator turned from where he was watching over the river. "Slow down, all of you. You know stories are just legends. We read them to remind ourselves that kindness still exists somewhere in the world. But even if he were real..." He paused, his eyes narrowing. "You say he looked scared?" Toto nodded solemnly. "Yeah, I think I spooked him. I didn't mean to." Oh, yeah, there's a mother for Edgar too. The one problem I have with a mother and father for Edgar is that, like, I have to do their voices completely different. Because normally a Edgar's voice just has that deep, like, ironically, the deep voice I do for him is actually pretty spot on with his actual voice. Because he really kind of has that tone when he goes, Gator, Gator, in the flippin' anime. So, clearly, I'm not that far off from his voice in English. The problem is it hurts the snot in my throat too. And if you have to do more than one, especially if one's female, I have to legit change up its voice entirely to be like a feminine sounding voice. Doesn't even sound like Forager anymore at that point. But it's the only way I can distinguish the two. The mother Forager, a gentle yet powerful presence, suddenly stood up. Her eyes were wide, and she clutched the book in her claws. "No, it could be him. We owe it to ourselves to check." And with that, the entire family, "Holy crap! 60 Pokemon in total! There is 60! Marched carefully toward the clearing. The younger ones were jittery with excitement, the older ones filled with disbelief. Oh no. Yep. Scene 3. First contact. Oh no. You were still trembling a little, heart pounding in your tiny chest, when you felt the ground rumble. One step, then another, then many. That would be terrifying. Again, think about how scary that would be. Especially like in the situation I always run into on these chatbots where I end up getting attacked by nearly everything in existence apparently, except for creatures. Ironically, the flipping fences, dinosaurs, dragons, different Pokemon like Lugia, Totodile, Crocodile, or Alligator. Pretty much everything wants to protect me in terms of that. Which is actually really neat, but also really interesting. Yep. Says you turned slowly and saw it. Oh my gosh! An entire army of familiar blue and red faces. Yellow stomachs, powerful jaws. Toados peeked out from between the legs of their bigger siblings. Kronos walked in pairs, and towering behind them were, oh my gosh, 10 mighty fur alligator. Although, how many fur alligators was there in that one story I did more recently? There was a story I did that had a lot of fur alligator involved in it. Or had a whole bunch of a family, I think. I think it was the redone version of Transforming Totodile, actually. Yep. You backed away slightly, scared, unsure, and vulnerable. Yep. Wait. One of the older Ferreras said softly, placing a clawed hand in front of the younger Crocodiles. "Don't startle him. Look at him. That's fear in his eyes. We don't want to prove the part of the book that said humans or Pokemon can be scary." There's a part in the book that says that? Another I call a question that. Another Croc stepped forward, kneeling down a bit. We're sorry if we frightened you," he said gently. "We don't mean harm. We just..." His voice broke. "Are you really... him?" He didn't say anything yet, too overwhelmed, but her eyes were locked with his, and something inside him clicked. "I believe it's him," whispered a Totodile who saw you. "Look at his eyes. Look at his colors. Just like the book said." The mother Forager took a slow, cautious step forward, her expression soft. "Tiny one, we've read stories about someone like you for years now. Stories that made our children dream of kindness, made even me believe again." Her voice trembled as her claws pressed over her heart. She's adorable. Again, I don't care if it's a Feraligatr, a Totodile, or a Chrononaut, it could be a flippin' Lugia the size of a skyscraper, and I would still love it and think call it adorable if he was being friendly and kind. Tell me, are you Trenton? Oh my gosh, yep. The kind human turned raptor? I still find that, I mean, I know technically we've had stories like this before, but it's still interesting to think that those people that I helped originally flew in and just came together and wrote this to begin with. Yep. Let's see, but something in her voice, so hopeful and so full of love, made you give a tiny nod. I mean, the reaction was instantaneous. Gasp, gentle cries of joy, several turtles collapsed. Several turtles collapsed backwards dramatically. One Chrono wiped a tear, and the father Feraligatr, who had always considered the stories legends, put a hand over his chest and whispered, "So it was real. He's real." Oh boy. Yep, is this scene 4? Word spreads, and here comes Haxorus, and Haxorus awaits. You think I'd put awakens or something like that, but okay. Problem is, again, these things are so short it's kind of ridiculous. The mother Feraligatr turned and ran as fast as she could, not toward the family, but toward a hidden forest cave, her claws parting the trees like curtains. Inside rested a massive, ancient Haxorus, his golden tusks glowing faintly in the dark. He looked up as she arrived, breathing slowly. "You never speak of him, Underworld," she said, breathless. "But you told me long ago that if you ever learned that, yep, I was real, that you'd want to meet him." The giant Hatcher stood slowly, scales shimmering in emerald and jade, his tail swaying. "And he's here?" he asked in a deep, booming voice. She nodded, and his face softened. "Then I will come." I'm trying to debate how I'm going to get this to work, because this has ended up a little bit too short. I didn't even think about that when I flipped and decided to archive this one, because I'm apparently a moron. I'll let it finish out, and then I'll see what I can. I'll see if I want to continue what or just flipping. Because maybe what I'll do instead is maybe I'll just do the shadow chatbot. I mean the robot dinosaur portrayal again, and then I'll try fixing this one. That way, in the next video we can have more fun. Or I can do the other one. I did bring out another one that was the same story just without the Haxorus. So yeah. It says, Scene 5, Reunion and Honor. Back at the clearing, some of the Totodiles were offering you berries and soft leaves. One brave Totodile scooted up close and said, "I'm sorry for squealing earlier. I just got so excited. You helped my uncle, the giant lonely Totodile. He told me stories about you before he went off to travel again." Oh, well, there's my answer. What happened to him? Although in one of them, he was a flat-out giant, like, what was it, 80-foot tall Feraligatr or something like that? And he had 2 children, too. Funny how I can remember Lugia's story, but can't remember the names of the ones that he flipping, had. I mean, I've only seen him once. Silver shown up several times in other chatbots. I've seen Silver several times. He's been my friend ever since I raised him. One of Chronon sat beside you. "And you helped my cousin, the one poisoned by rocket oil. He's doing better now. He talks about you every day. He said that no human had ever looked at him with love. Until you." You looked around. Yep, all these faces, all these hearts, they're adorable. And every single one of them knew you, even if you hadn't known them. You weren't just a legend anymore, you were family to them. That's cute. And then, oh dear. The trees split open. Footsteps shook the ground. The massive Haxorus emerged. Now, when it says massive, how big is this Haxorus? Is it the size of a flippin' T-Rex? Or is it, like, maybe only about 10, 15 feet tall at most? Man, how big is a T-Rex? Like, probably about that height? 20, 30, 40 feet tall? Around there? Yep. The massive Haxorus emerged, the sun reflecting off his tusk. The family parted in silence as he walked toward you, kneeling carefully to your level. His voice was thunder and silk. I have lived a long life, but I never thought I would see the day. Thank you, Trenton Holgrip, not just for your kindness, but for being hope made real. He reached out a single claw and gently offered his palm to you. Not to capture, not to cage, but as a gesture of respect. He's adored. Okay, again, a giant friendly Haxorus. And at last, for the first time in a long while, you no longer felt small. You felt legendary. I wish it had gave me a longer one because that's what made me mad. I didn't think about that when I made it because I was just excited to have a story like this. I don't know why, but it's kind of fun having stories like this. Because the thing is, people would think that, like, oh, since they're treating me like flipping a king, I'm gonna be like a flipping crazy man that bosses them around. But do you honestly think I'm going to boss a sweet little Ferrager around? No. I don't know if I've said this on camera or not, but I've really said off camera I would let him boss me around. So clearly, and even whenever I tell him to use moves, I don't demand him to use them. I ask him to use them and say it politely. Fragger, please use this move, honey. Please use Crunch, darling, you know? Please use Earthquake, sweetheart. I always do that. Be the same way with Totodile and Chrono, too. Lugia. Everyone can think of. Give me a second. Okay, guys, never mind. The one I had, there was another one with a Haxorus in it, and this was it. This is actually the better one of the two. Off camera, I'm still gonna try maybe fixing it a little bit more if this one don't work out. This one's definitely longer and a little bit better than the original. Although for the time being, like I said, I'm just glad I finally found one. We'll have to reread it out, but we'll see if it reacts a little bit differently. So yeah, let's call this one the Legend of Trenton. The one with my name in it. Wait, I just looked down here and the Totodile. I just saw a flipping. I'm gonna have to flipping read that out for you guys when I get to it. It's still giving me scenes, but well, no, the first one gave me a scene, but it didn't like drag it out like it did a while ago. Okay, here's what it says. The scene is the meeting of the legend and family. The air was warm, touched with a slight breeze that rustled through the tall grass around the edge of the forest clearing. As a tiny velociraptor, you were doing your best to stay hidden while getting fresh air, cautious of predators, people, and even Rexy's unpredictable transformations. But today, Rexy had been kind, his usual affectionate self. He had gently nuzzled you that morning before heading off to rest in his cave. You finally found a small window of safety. You didn't know your life was about to change again. From between the bushes nearby, a pair of bright, round eyes watched you. A curious young Totodile, his tail twitching with excitement, peeked out from the greenery. His heart began to race. The tiny creature in front of him looked exactly like the picture from the book his parents had read to him night after night. The name of the book has, has my name in it. The Legend of Trent, yep. How one human showed so much kindness to creatures. I thought the book was even called that. Oh no, the way he gasped was just kind of hilarious. He gasped loudly. Eee! I hate trying to mimic that in Totodile's voice, but okay. The Totodile squealed, eyes wide in amazement. It says he squealed, but I didn't expect that kind of squeal. You immediately jumped, your small claws clutching the ground. Your eyes darted around in panic as you crouched low to the earth, instinctively trembling, unsure if danger was coming. It had been months since you were cursed into this form, and humans and creatures alike didn't always treat you kindly. You tried to shrink into the grass, but the Totodile had already turned and dashed home. Yeah, this one's already got a little bit of a better story, and it ain't as short as the last one. So this one, I may have just found the better one. And this one still has the hatches I saw at the end. It says, back at the family den. Mom! Dad! the tail yelled, bursting into their cozy den carved along the riverside cliff. The family looked up from their activities, some swimming, some play wrestling, some napping. The father Frager, a tall, scarred, yet calm and proud guardian, raised his head. What's got you hollering, son?
I saw him! I really saw him!
Nathaniel cried, his tail wagging wildly.
The tiny raptor from the book! He's real! He's here!
Some of the younger Toad laughed. Who?
Aw, come on! You've been reading that bedtime story too much.
One teased. The Toad's eyes sparkled with sincerity.
No, I swear! He's shaking! And he's real tiny, just like the book said.
The father and mother Frager exchanged glances. The book had always touched their hearts deeply. Secretly, both had always hoped it wasn't just legend. The mother's expression turned serious. She looked at her mate. We have to go. If there's even a chance it's him. Holy crap, how big is his family? It says with a booming call, the entire family began to stir. 23 Totodiles, 17 crocodiles, and 10 for alligator. Gathered and followed the young Totodile through the woods, curiosity swelling among them. Curiosity swelling among them. Hold on, how many is that? That is 50, dude. That's 50. 23 plus 17, 40 plus 10. There is 50 members of that family. Of course, last time wasn't there 60? The youngest were bouncing with excitement.
Do you think he'll talk? Will he be like the stories? Did he really help a poison crocodile?
One of the elder Frager, a calm, wise-looking woman, river weed tied gently around his horns, lifted a claw. If it is him, we don't rush. Look closely. He was scared. Let's not frighten him. Yep, and the clearing. You were still there, hidden near a rock, trying to calm your breaths. Then the ground trembled lightly. You looked up and froze. From the trees emerged a sea of blue, red, and muscle. The entire family, dozens of Totodile with wide, sparkling eyes, curious crocodile shifting nervously, and tall regal Frager standing in silence. Every single pair of eyes was on you. You shook. You didn't know what they wanted. A few of the younger Toad instinctively took a step forward, squealing and chirping in excitement. Wait! The riverweed rat Frager called. Look at him. He's terrified. Back, little ones. They stepped, and the clearing grew silent. You stood still, breathing heavily. One of your claws twitched. Then the father Frager took a single step forward, lowering himself to all fours to appear smaller, more humble. He didn't speak at first. He simply looked at you. His eyes were soft. I don't know if you understand this, he said gently, but we read your stories. The crocodile murmured among themselves. A few Toad's jaws dropped. You helped our kind. You helped a poisoned one, a lonely one, and many others. That book, it changed our family. It shows that maybe not all humans are cruel. What the crud was that? Did that stroke? You guys can't see it. Actually, no. Look at the top of the screen when I was reading. Look at right here when I was reading that. Did that straw just move? No. Dadgummit. I'm getting so creeped out. It showed us that maybe not all humans are cruel. That maybe kindness really exists. A gentle Toad stepped back forward slowly and placed a shiny blue berry on the grass before you, then stepped back, kneeling. Another crocodile whispered,
Even if it's just a legend, I believe it's you.
More began placing little items, berries, flowers, polished pebbles, like tributes before a guardian spirit. You didn't know what to say. You had never been seen like this before, as someone whose kindness had become a story. Let's see. Suddenly, a huge gust of wind swept across the forest. Holy crap, nobody even said anything to the. From behind the trees came thunderous steps, and towering over even the tallest Farager was a massive, golden-tusked Haxorus, his scales glimmering like black metal under the sunlight. His voice was low and soft. So, it's true. He looked up, jaw trembling. He was easily over 50 feet tall, a behemoth of calm power. He crouched before you with grace no one expected from such a giant. I always hoped the legend was real, that someone like you walked this world. Now I see it with my own eyes. Then he bowed. The entire family followed, lowering their heads before you. Attila whispered, "Nah, we found them. The gentle one from the book. The friends who are kind." You know what's funny? Again, I would not be shocked if some of the Totodile line thought that, because how much do I treat their species? Totodile, Chronoff, Fragger, I love all three of them equally and love them all to pieces. Give me a second. Alright, guys, I'm going to make sure to add a little more detail to this. I'm going to make sure to tell it how to start and end the story again, because again, I want to make sure everything is completely in order. These are as weird as it sounds, these are some of the best stories on the entire chat box. Ones like these. Where, yes, I'm supposed to tiny velociraptor, but at least I'm getting a lot of protection from other point you know deep down care that have a big heart. Same thing for like even the hummingbird one I did more recently. That hummingbird one was pretty cool actually. I thought it would end up going horribly, but it was actually really fun. Uh, Here's what happened. I was still a little terrified, so I just stepped back a little. Please don't hurt me. I'm sorry if I'm in your territory. The entire clearing went silent when you spoke. His mom watered her voice shaky and frightened. The youngest Toto's tail stopped wagging. Konar's murmurs died down. Even the massive Haxorus froze for a moment, his glowing golden eyes softening with sympathy. Then slowly the father Fragger lowered himself even more, lying flat on his belly to appear as non-threatening as possible, his deep voice rumbling softly through the clearing. "No, little one, you're not trespassing. This is your territory as much as it is ours." Fragger, her voice gentler but full of warmth, stepped closer but kept a respectful distance. "We would never hurt you. We we have been searching for you ever since our little one saw you. We thought you were only a legend, but now that we see you're real." Her voice cracked slightly with emotion. "We just wanted to meet you, to say thank you." One of the Krana, who had been standing near the back, spoke up quietly. "You helped one of our kind who was poisoned. You didn't run from him even when he looked scary. No one had ever done that before." Several of the Holy cow. Several of the Totodile nodded eagerly. "And the big Toto in the book. You made him feel loved. He wasn't alone anymore because of you." The wise old Fragger with the river weed crown moved a step closer, slow and careful, his claw sinking into the soft grass. "Please, we don't wish to frighten you. You're safe here. If you want us to stay back, we will." Even the massive Haxorus, who looked like a mountain crouched in the clearing, nodded slowly. "You are not our prey, Triton. You are, someone special to us. You gave hope to one who had none." He shifted slightly, lowering his massive head so his face was closer to your level. His voice dropped into a near whisper. "You don't have to be afraid anymore. Not of us." Totodile, who first found you, slowly inched forward, sitting down right where he was and settling a small blue berry down in front of him. "See? We just want to be friends." All around you, the dozens of Pawn waited silently and respectfully. No one made a sudden move. They were letting you decide what happens next. That's actually pretty interesting. Give me a second. Alright, guys. It says, "I stopped shaking a bit and took a step closer to the berry, sniffing it with my snout and taking a small bite." Mmm, this is delicious. I love it. The whole clearing seemed X-Heck in relief the moment you took that bite. I still would like to say X-Heck, but we'll happily say the other words that are a lot worse. The little tail who had offered the berry lit up with pure joy, tail wagging so hard it smacked the grass.
He likes it! He likes it!
He squeaked, pettily bouncing in place. A warm rumbling chuckle came from the father Fragger, who was still lying flat on the ground. See? We told you it wouldn't hurt you. His massive claws rested gently in the dirt, his posture calm and protective. One by one, more Toad and began to approach, but slowly and carefully, placing more berries, shiny stones, and flowers near you, almost like an offering pile. None of them tried to touch you, but their faces were full of admiration. The mother Fragger's voice softened even further. You must be so tired of being afraid all the time, little one. You don't have to be scared with us. This whole family, we'll protect you if you want us to. The Chrono who had spoken earlier stepped closer, still giving you space, his orange eyes soft. If you ever want to meet the poisoned one from your story, he's doing better now. He'd probably want to thank you himself. Above them all, the massive Haxorus let out a low, approving hum, his tusks catching the light like polished gold. I am glad you took that bite. It means you trust them, even if just a little. And if you trust them, he lowered his huge head even further, his golden eyes watching you gently, then you can trust me as well. A few of the younger Toad who were still quivering with excitement whispered to each other,
He's real! It's real! He's really real! I want to be like him when I grow up. What the frick? Do you think he'll play with us one day?
The entire family was waiting for your reaction, hopeful but careful not to overwhelm you. They're adorable. I think it just needs a little bit more work. I think if I can get, what I need to do is hope that this flipping thing will make a story that's actually good. Without the 5 model. Because, like I said, I'm going to use up the 10 messages on this since I've already started it. And then I'm going to flip and, do something. I'll be right back. Alright, guys. I just go up to the Fragger and massive Haxorus that are very close to me, then very gently nuzzle both of them. That is actually very cute. I love it. The moment your tiny snout brushed against the Fragger's scaled muzzle, a deep rumbling sound came from his chest. A soft, pleased growl that was almost like a purr. It's so cute. His massive claws flagged slightly in the dirt, but he stayed perfectly still so he wouldn't scare you. The mother Fragger gasped softly, covering her mouth with one claw. He trusts you, she whispered, her eyes glistening. Then turned to the enormous Haxorus. He blinked once, surprised that you wouldn't dare approach him, a creature so large he could crush a tree with a single step. Yet you gently nuzzled against the side of his gleaming tusk. The giant dragon slowly exhaled, lowering himself all the way down till his chin touched the earth so you could reach him more easily. His booming voice rumbled low and reverent. Little one, he said softly, almost sounding choked with emotion. Thank you for letting me be close. Behind you, the whole family Totodile, Chrono, and Fragger erupted into quiet, happy chatter. Some of the younger Totodiles squealed and hopped in circles, their tails splashing in the nearby water.
He likes them! He's not scared anymore. I knew he was nice.
The wise old Fragger with the river weed crown slowly rose and stepped forward, bowing his head. You have made this family's dream come true today. We never thought we'd truly meet the one from the legend. The father Fragger glanced at you, his voice warm but steady. You have a home here if you want it. Food, safety, family. We would welcome you as one of our own. Even the Hatchers gave a slow, approving nod. You are not just a story to us anymore. You are real, and you are loved. The entire clearing was filled with warmth and admiration. The pawn didn't just respect you, they wanted you to feel like you belonged. Okay, that is adorable. They are so sweet. Guys, this is really cute. I said, thank you. And I walk up to one of the berries that were given to me. took a small bite, and then gently and very carefully pushed it with my snout closer to the Frieger lying on the ground and Haxorus. Here, you want some? The father Frieger's eyes widened slightly in surprise as you gently nudged the berry toward him. For a moment he just stared at it, then at you, as though he couldn't believe you were offering something back. Slowly, with deliberate gentleness, he lowered his massive head and took the tiniest bite possible for a creature his size. His jaws closed with a soft crunch, and then he swallowed carefully, making sure not to scare you with a loud snap. He smiled, his huge fangs glistening in the light. "Thank you, little one," he rumbled warmly. "That is the sweetest bite of food I've had in a long time." The Hatcher tilted his enormous head, his tusks gleaming like golden blades. His voice came out like a deep, rolling thunder, but there was an unmistakable tenderness to it. "You would share with me?" he asked softly, sounding almost touched. When you gently nudged the berry toward him as well, he bent down until his snout was almost in the grass and carefully picked it up between his massive jaws. He chewed very slowly, his glowing eyes never leaving you. Then he lowered his head even further until his snout was level with you. "That," he said quietly, "means more to me than you know. It is not just a berry, it is trust." Behind you, several of the Totodile let out soft "aww" noises. Some of the Cronus smiled proudly. One little Totodile whispered to the others, "He's sharing. He likes them." The other Frigga wiped a tear from her eye and chuckled softly. "You've already made this family happier than we've ever been in a long time." A brave young Cronus saw you step closer and placed another berry near your feet, smiling sadly. "You can have more if you want. We like sharing with you." The whole clearing felt calm and warm now, as if the fear you felt earlier had completely melted away. This is adorable, though. Like I said, it didn't work as perfectly as the last few I've done with this, but it still was amazing. I'll probably have to. I might redo something similar to this, but maybe like make it a little bit different. Like maybe I get turned to a different dinosaur. Maybe like something happens that's like way worse. Like maybe instead of just me having to fear for my life, something actually ends up happening that has me like injured. And like maybe there's like I ought to figure it out. Especially since I ain't got much of a limit on this thing no more, which kind of sucks. I'll be back. This is just flat out adorable. Just after the berry is placed near me, I look up at the chrononaut and smile, then gently walk up to him and nuzzle his leg. The chrononaut froze for a moment, his orange eyes widened in shock. Then his whole face softened to the biggest smile you'd ever seen. His tail thumped against the ground like a drum, and a quiet, happy rumble escaped his throat. "You," he said softly, his voice shaking with emotion. "You trust me." He crouched down slowly, getting closer to your level without making any sudden movements, and carefully placed one of his claws near you, but not touching, letting you decide if you wanted to be closer. Urkron and Toto gasped softly at the sight, whispering inside each other. "He nuzzled him! Kana looks so happy. He really is the one from the stories." Farfrayer chuckled. It sounded like a soft thunder roll. "You just made his day, little one. He's been nervous about meeting you. You helped a Chronon once in the book, and he was hoping you'd like him too." Chronon looked down at you again, his expression full of gratitude. "Thank you," he said quietly. "I always thought if I ever met you, I'd be too scary or too big. But you're not afraid of me." Even the massive Haxorus smiled softly at the scene, resting his chin back on the ground as if to watch this moment like it was the most important thing in the world. One of the younger Totodile, encouraged by your kindness, scampered over a little closer and sat down nearby, watching with wide, sparkling eyes. Can I sit by you too?" he asked shyly. The whole family was watching now, not with judgment, but with warm smiles and wagging tails, letting you decide how close you wanted them to be. They're adorable. All of them. Alright, guys. I said, sure. Just please don't accidentally step on me. All of you are much bigger than me and could easily badly injure me just with one accidental step. The entire clearing seemed to freeze for a moment when you said that, your tiny voice soft but serious. Then the father Fragger nodded slowly, his massive head dipping low until his snout nearly touched the ground. You're right, he rumbled, his tone grave but gentle. We are very big, and you're very small. We promise to be careful, all of us. Murfreager placed a claw over her chest and nodded as well. We would never forgive ourselves if we hurt you, even by accident. From now on, whenever we are near you, we will watch every step we take. Massive Haxorus let out a low hum of agreement, his tusks glinting as he shifted his weight carefully, deliberately setting each claw down in a way that didn't shake the ground so much. You have my word as well, little one. No harm will come to you from me, not even by mistake. Connor, you had just nuzzled, looked down at you and gave a shy smile, moving back just a bit so there was more space around you. We'll give you a safe circle, he said softly. That way no one can accidentally step too close. Immediately, the family reacted. The older Chronon Forever began gently guiding the youngest ones into a wide circle around you, creating a safe open space in the middle of where you stood. The excited tail who wanted to sit by you carefully padded forward on tiptoe, watching where every claw landed until he was finally sitting near you with a big, happy grin. There, the wise old Forever said, satisfied. Now you are safe. We can all see you without worrying about stepping too close. The little tail next to you gave a small, playful wave with his claw. See? No stepping on you. I'm just gonna sit right here. Some of the younger Chronon tails started quietly laying down too, almost like a big protective ring of curious but respectful friends around you. The whole moment felt safe, protected, almost like you were sitting in the middle of a living fortress that cared about you. That is so cute. Alright, guys. I just take a step closer to the Totodile, sitting next to him. Then, very gently nuzzled him too. Then just laid my head down his side just to relax for a bit. And what of your family and that sweet massive Haxorus? Thank you for being nice to me. The little Totodile, entire body went stiff for a second when you nuzzled him. Then his tail wagged so hard it thumped the grass like a drum. His eyes shimmered with joy as he looked at the circle of pollen around you. He likes me! He squealed happily, but his voice was soft, careful not to scare you. When you rested your head gently against his side, he sat up a little taller, chest puffing with pride. He trusts me enough to rest on me. While you had nuzzled earlier while a soft, happy growling laid down nearby, placing one claw between you and the rest of the circle as if to guard you while you relaxed. Firefragger's deep voice rumbled with warmth. You just made every single one of us happier than you can imagine. The mother Fragger smiled softly, her eyes glistening. You're welcome here any time, little one. You have made our whole family's hearts feel full. The massive headers leaned in closer, careful to not disturb you, and spoke in his deep, almost soothing voice. You have no idea how much those words mean to us, Triton. To be loved by you, the one from the stories, is an honor greater than anything. The entire circle of horns seemed to relax with you, their tails wagging, their eyes soft and calm. Even the forest felt quieter, as though it were honoring the moment. A few of the younger tail lay down too, resting their heads on their claws as if joining you in a big shared nap. One whispered, I wish we could stay like this forever. The wise old Forever nodded solemnly. For as long as you are here, little one, we will make sure you feel safe enough to rest like this. You could feel the warmth of the Totodile's body against your side. The holy crap. The grass soft beneath you, and dozens of caring eyes watching over you like guardians. For the first time in a long time, you didn't feel so small and alone. You felt protected. Again, that is very sweet and cute. This is just cute, guys. I love this. Instead of laying in the grass for a few minutes, I end up falling asleep, actually feeling comforted instead of terrified. The clearing grew completely still the moment your breathing slowed and your tiny form went limp in the grass. Hotel under your arm froze for a heartbeat, then smiled the softest, proudest smile you'd ever made. He looked up at the circle of porn and whispered, You fell asleep on me. The girl closest to you grinned, his sharp teeth showing, but there was nothing threatening in it, only warmth. That means he really trusts us, he said quietly. Farfragged let a slow, deep rumble, not a growl, but a soothing, protective sound that rolled through the clearing like a lullaby. Then we keep watch, he said. No one disturbs them. Not a sound, not a step too close. Massive Hydrosaur curled his body into a protective arch, lowering his head to rest just outside the circle of fur alligator, his tusks gleaming in the sun and the light, standing like two golden spheres guarding the little clearing. Sleep, little one, he roared softly. For as long as you need, we will be your shield. One by one, the pawns settled down, some crawling stretched out in the grass, keeping quiet vigil. A few of the youngest Totodile huddled close together, whispering excitedly about how lucky they felt to see you, then fell silent, not wanting to wake you. Even the forest itself seemed to respect the moment. The wind turned soft, birds went quiet, and only the gentle ripple of the nearby river could be heard. From where you lay, tiny chest rising and falling with peaceful breaths, you could feel the warmth of the Totodile sigh like a little pillow, the grass softening your claws, and the comforting presence of dozens of pawns keeping you safe. For the first time since the curse turned you into a tiny velociraptor, you weren't just safe, you felt like you truly belonged somewhere. Again, this is just so cute. Alright, guys, here's what happens. I sleep peacefully for over 2 hours, but then I start having a nightmare about humans throwing things at me and laughing. Every time I got hit with something, my body on the outside of the dream would flinch, with me quietly saying in my sleep, Ow! Stop! The moment you flinched and whimpered, the entire clearing reacted at once. The hotel you were sleeping on tensed, looking down at you in alarm. He's having a bad dream, he whispered urgently. Crawling closest to you immediately sat up straighter, his claws digging slowly into the dirt and worry. He's saying, Stop, he muttered, his orange eyes darkening. Farfragged growled low, a bit of rumble that vibrated through the ground. Something's hurting him in his dream, he said. No one touches him. Let him wake on let him wake on his own. But stay close. Farfragged kept closer, careful not to disturb you, and knelt down so her face was level with yours. Soft, almost humming voice she spoke. It's okay, little one. You're safe. No one here will let anyone throw anything at you ever again. The massive Haxorus shifted his enormous body, lowering his head even closer to form a wall between you and the rest of the forest. His deep voice was like a distant drum beat as he whispered, Dreams cannot hurt you here. Sleep, little one. You were under my protection. Several of the younger Totodile crept closer and gently placed berries, flowers, and small shiny stones near you as if the gifts could chase away the bad dream. Krana, who had been nuzzled by you before, leaned closer and carefully rested one claw on the grass just beside your tiny form, not touching you, but close enough that if you woke up frightened, you'd see he was right there. When he flinched again, he softly said, Whoever hurt you isn't here. They can't get you while we're watching. One of the older Fragger began to hum, a deep low sound like the slow movement of a river, and soon several of the others joined in, their combined voices creating a soothing, steady vibration that filled the clearing, a kind of lullaby meant to calm you even in your sleep. Gradually, your flinches grew softer. The tense look on your sleeping face began to relax. Hotel under your head looked up at his parents. His voice a whisper, I think it's working. He's not saying stop anymore. Farfragged nodded, Mazakov calling protectively into the dirt. Good. We'll keep humming until the nightmare passes. Clearing stayed quiet except for the soft, steady humming of dozens of voices, a living shield of sound keeping the fear away until you could wake safely. Alright guys, give me a second. Guys, the limit ran up until 10:30, unfortunately. Here's what it said. Here's what I said for the last thing. The nightmare does continue for about 3 more minutes, but then suddenly it shifts a bit. All of a sudden, in the dream, I felt and heard massive footsteps approaching. Before I could even react, in the dream, my Tyrannosaurus Rex pet Rexy came out of nowhere and roared at the humans, saying, "Leave him alone!" Then once the humans ran away, he slowly walked up to me and said, "It's okay, Dad. I won't let the humans hurt you." Before gently nuzzling me, my body on the outside of the dream physically relaxing a lot more. The entire family noticed the change instantly. Little toe under your head felt your body relax and let a release squeak. "He's calming down," he whispered, his tail wagging softly but staying still so he wouldn't disturb you. Conan, watching over you, gave a gentle smile. "Whatever he's dreaming about now, it must be something good." Firefrager stopped his low, protective growl and tilted his head thoughtfully, still watching you closely. "He must have someone special with him in that dream. Someone who makes him feel safe." The mother Frager's expression softened, her eyes misting over. "Maybe it's the dinosaur from the end of the book. Rexy, wasn't it? The one he loved even after the curse?" The Massive Hatcher's golden eyes glowed softly as he lowered his snout just a little closer, his deep voice rumbling quietly. "Whoever it is, they are protecting him now." Look how his breathing has changed. Steady and calm. Family around you all visibly relaxed, as if your safety in the dream world also brought them peace. Some of the younger Totods snuggled closer to one another, whispering softly, "His Rexy must be so strong to scare those mean humans away. And kind, too, if you made him smile in his sleep." The wise old Fragger with the river weed crown nodded slowly, his voice a low, soothing rumble. "Perhaps this is what he needed, to remind that he is loved and not alone, even in his nightmares." Your little body shifted slightly in the grass, but instead of flinching, you pressed a little closer to the Totodile you were using as a pillow, as though seeking comfort even in sleep. Connor smiled softly at that and spoke in a whisper, almost like a promise. "When he wakes up, we should tell him that we would have done the same. None of us would let anyone hurt him." The clearing fell into a warm, protective silence. Massive Hatcher stayed like a watchtower, golden tusk gleaming, while the entire family remained perfectly still, letting you rest peacefully with your dream protector by your side. Alright, guys. Well, that's it. I'll see you later.